Today I'm in Barnard Castle, and in Barnard Castle, yes, you've guessed it, there's a castle. So I thought I'd come here. This is the first time I've ever been in here, so it's my first experience. So should we go and experience it together and check it out and see what there is? Let's go. So I've just come in the main entrance and bought myself a ticket. The ticket actually cost me £8.60, but I left a donation of 50p, so I brought it to £9.10. So I'm currently in this is the town ward, but there are different wards as we go along. So we'll have a little look around each one. So this is the town ward that we're in at the moment, and the entrance is just there. The ticket office is just there. There is toilets and disabled toilets right there as well. So far, it looks like it's all flat. There is a walkway just over there, little bridge over there as well. So there is areas you can go in a wheelchair. I'm just going to go over here and see what this is over here. So this is the Brackenbury Tower. It's not only that, it was a storeroom. I don't know how much you can see because it's quite dark in places. But this is it here. But yeah, this floor was not only used as a storeroom, but it was also living quarters, since it contained a fireplace, a garden robe, like a latrine, and 2 small cupboards. But it must have been a dark room, as there's no surviving window. Obviously there's a window up there, but obviously it's dark in there. And I don't think this is a window here either. No, so I think that is the only window in the actual building itself. So this would have been built in the 12th century, and this tower was possibly named after Sir Robert Brackenbury, who was a lieutenant of the Tower of London during the reign of Richard III between 1483 and 1485. So as I said a moment ago, this is the town ward. There is an inner ward and also an outer ward that you can access via this little bridge here. But it's a nice little open space. An excellent place for all the family. As I said, there is gravel going along all the paths. It does look, as you can see for yourself, relatively flat. There are picnic benches, so if you want to bring your own food, you can sit and have your snacks and drinks and things. I believe there's a cafe here as well. I'm sure I saw that at the start. It said about a cafe. But it's just a nice little open space just to bring the family. Obviously the kids can run around and obviously pretend they're princes and princesses, kings and queens, and access all of the different wards. I think that's the inner ward over there, and you go around there and that's the outer ward. But it's just a beautiful little area, don't you think? You've got the Methodist church in the distance, which I'll probably show you a bit later. I'm going to do a walk around here at some point, so I might do that in another video. But it's just a nice little open space. It's just opened. It's just about 10:05 in the morning, so it's just opened. And I think there's obviously 2 people over there, and I think there's probably about 3, maybe 4 maximum that are over in the outer ward. So far there's not many people turned up, which is obviously good for me, because I can sort of go around and film as much as I can without invading anybody's privacy. Nice little seat for you there. But there's little benches dotted all over the place. Obviously there's a picnic benches there, but there's plenty of places just to sit and take 5 and just sort of take it all in, and just imagine what it would have been like when it was all built up before. It's high walls, stopping the intruders coming in. And obviously the River Tees is just over the other side of there, because we're in the northeast of England. It's not too far from Darlington. It was about half an hour on the bus from Darlington, but if you drive in, it's probably going to be a lot quicker. But yeah, you can just imagine how this was back in the day. Obviously that wouldn't have been there, but you would have had high walls there. Obviously this would have been all built up. All these walls would have been built up. That tower might have been a bit bigger, and judging by this area here, this might have been like a moat. Obviously there's no water in there at the moment, but you can venture down there. There is gravel paths I can see now, making it a bit easier on foot to go down, so you can obviously go down there, have a look around there, and then follow the path around and go down through that little gap there. But as I say, it is, as you can see for yourself, it is relatively flat for both manual and power chairs, so I wouldn't see a bit of a difficulty going over here. And then this is the first bridge going over to the next level, or the next ward even. So you can just imagine all of this may be filled with water. So let's go to the next little area. There are signs telling you exactly what everything is. I've never been here before, so I am taking my information from those boards. I'm not that knowledgeable, to be honest. But yeah, there's nice little walkways you can go over. It's all nice and safe. And there's walks down and gravel paths as well. Obviously, if you're disabled, you won't be able to get down the steps. But obviously, it still gives you plenty of places to go on the grass and the gravel paths going along there. So you can access this nice top level, all of this top level. It's just obviously these stairs you wouldn't be able to manage. Right, let's have a look and see what this part is over here. This is the middle and outer wards, which was also known as many gates because it linked the 3 other wards of the castle. It served as a fortified entry area or barbican through which every visitor had to pass in order to get into the inner ward. As well as this defensive role, it was also contained buildings such as stables and accommodation for those of the castle's officers. So I think this is just a little drop down. I don't think there's anything apart from some of the outer walls. Obviously you can see there used to be sort of walls and rooms. I wonder if this would have been the stable area that I mentioned a moment ago. You can see where the walls used to be. But it's good that they made this all accessible for most part. But also there's obviously you've got the barriers on there for safety, and across there and over here, just obviously so you can rest assured if you bring your kids and things like that, that it is safe. They're not going to go over the edge. I'll have a look through this window, or maybe over there. Look over there. Look over here first, because there is a sign telling me what this is. This is the Constable Tower. So this tower controlled the main entrance to the middle ward from the outer ward. Less than half of the gate tower survives, as you can see. A lot of it's sort of fallen. But clearly it was actually a square design. There's the other wall, and it would have gone out and created a square tower. Yes. But yeah, with the entrance passage flanked by guard rooms on the ground floor. Above there were at least 2 further stories, which is possibly here, and obviously up there I'm guessing. You can see sort of the walls coming and the floor coming out and the windows being there. Other than the southern portion of the surviving gate tower, you can see a pair of arch culverts which drained the moat between the middle and outer wards. So I'm going to angle this down and so you can have a look. Right, I'm not too sure if I can get to that because obviously I need to climb on there, but there is a safer area up here to look out, which I'll show you in a second. But yeah, manual chair may struggle a little bit on this, with it being a bigger stones, but if someone's pushing you, I'm sure you'll manage. It's going to be careful. This is the inner ward, as it says there. So the inner ward looks a lot more impressive. You've obviously got the round tower over there. So the inner ward, this formed the core of the castle and was a stronghold and place of residence for the Ballions and their successors. In the Middle Ages, it was known as the donjon or keep. So that's what it looks like now, and I'll show you on here. Hopefully I won't be shadowing it, but obviously there's some sketches of how it looked in the early 12th century, mid-century, late 12th century, and obviously the late 14th century, how it's changed over the centuries. So as you can see, the round tower that was over there was actually sort of rectangular, and before that it wasn't even there. You just had sort of a few little houses. I don't know if that's like a little farm grass area there, and then you had the round tower and a bigger building there, and then an entrance to get in, so it wasn't as easy. Right, I'll show you the view over this wall. It'll be I think this is where the River Tees is. There you go. There's a River Tees down there that flows up there. There's a bridge up there, and I've totally forgot. I think it's just a white bridge, I think it's classed as, and I think that goes over to a nature reserve in the distance somewhere over there, I think. I might end up going for a wander over there, maybe in another video. I want to focus on the castle today. But yeah, there's a nice little bridge here. I did some drone footage which I'll stick on now so you can see it from a distance. So I'm heading now into the inner ward. There's a little sign here about the Great Ditch, which is here. So the inner ward was separated from the middle ward by a great ditch, which would have been here. This formidable defence feature was dug in the 12th century when the stone walls were built round the inner ward. It replaced an earlier and smaller ditch. Immediately below there is a small sally port with a portcullis. This was a shortcut to the river front and enabled the bridge across the river to be defended rapidly in times of danger. So that would have been down there somewhere, which I'll pop down in a bit, and obviously that goes out, and that obviously goes to the River Tees. I'm guessing it comes out maybe somewhere there, it comes out there, and there's the River Tees right there flowing off. Right, let's go to the inner ward. So when you're walking around places like this, you kind of take sort of 5-10 minutes or something just to like look at it and just imagine how it used to be back in the day, with all of the sort of the knights and the people that sort of looked after this place. You can just imagine all these people coming around and obviously keeping an eye out, making sure there's no dodgy people coming around the corner, and if there is, obviously you can escape, get yourself to the River Tees and you're away, or stand your ground and fight. But it looks a decent stronghold. I'll head over here. There's another little section here because there's some people over there. I'll let them enjoy that while I go over here. There's no one over here at the moment. But yeah, it's great. There's a lot of holes and whatnot, like wells or whatever there would be, and yeah, it just makes it safer for the little kids. Because the last thing you need is your kid dropping down. I mean, it's not deep, but obviously for a young kid it will be. So it is great that they've got all of these safety measures. But yeah, I'm going to go up there and get into that tower and see if I can get all the way to the top and see what the view's like up there. I don't think you can get up there. I think that's as is. There's no steps or anything like that. I don't think it goes any further. I think you just go up there along and then in. It looks like there's a stairwell going down, so there might be a little area there we can investigate in a moment. So this is the Bakehouse. So this site was a bakehouse kept separate from the other buildings because of the risk of fire. Common sense really, isn't it? You can still see the stone lined pit, which was a water cistern, and the remains of a simple oven. The slight bank which the bakehouse stands on is all that remains of the original earthwork defences of the inner ward. These were flattened off and a stone curtain wall contained arrow loops built on top. So yeah, back in the 12th century, this is where they would have cooked their food, and obviously kept it away from sort of the important parts of the church, because the last thing you need is a fire. But yeah, it's just as I'm going back to what I was saying a moment ago, it just astounds me just do you know, like, just imagining life, how life would have been back in the day. Obviously a lot harder, because today's life, everything's handed to you on a plate pretty much, but back then it was a lot of a harder life. But you can just imagine what people walking maybe above there, so a roaring fire cooking the main meal, and just seeing people up there defending, keeping an eye on the land, keeping an eye on the castle. So as there's still a couple of people in the actual tower itself, I'll head over here and show you this section of the castle, and because ideally I'd like to go in there when there's no one about, just so I don't feel as much of an idiot talking to a camera. Whoa, nearly fell over. Yeah, could have got 250 quid from you being friend there. But yeah, sometimes when you're walking around with a camera, people are just looking and you go, what are you doing? But it's just creating nice content for cool people like you. Right, this is the Mortham Tower. Obviously in a bit of a disrepair, but the Mortham Tower was at least 5 stories high and acted as a lookout tower. Only its west wall now remains, and it was built in the 14th century at the same time as the final version of the Great Hall. The tower stood above the service areas which separated the Great Hall from the kitchen range. The remains of the passages and storerooms and the buttery and pantry can still be seen, which obviously are down here. And I think the kitchen range would have been here, judging by the maps I can see there. As you can see, I believe that's where I am at the moment. That's where the tower is in the Great Hall, if I'm seeing that right. So the Great Hall would have been here, and obviously the round tower is there because it's a tower, and you've guessed it, it's round. There's a bakehouse as well, which I'd just shown you a moment ago, which was over there. But there's also a well, which I don't know whether it's over there. It's showing it down some steps, so I'm guessing it's down there. We'll have a look at the Great Hall and see what it says about the Great Hall. I'll try not to fall down here. Which, as you can appreciate, it's just a lovely day, don't you think? Bit of cloud in the sky, which is a nice little day. There's a few more people arriving, but less than I was expecting. I was expecting quite a few people to be here. Obviously it's a Wednesday, there's market day, so people might be in the high street and the marketplace. I'm haunted by market squares. But yeah, there's a marketplace separate to the actual high street. You can go and check out, there's butchers and all sorts there. I will be doing a video on that after this one. But yeah, it's just blue skies, sun, it's red hot. And yeah, we'll be heading on into there in a minute. But yeah, this is the Great Hall. Let's see what it says about the Great Hall. So the Great Halls belong to various phases of the castle stood here. The building you can see was marked out, was constructed by Thomas Boerkamp, I think that's pronounced, around 1330, when the domestic buildings of the inner ward were modernised. The Great Hall was used for formal occasions. It was probably had a hearth in the centre of the floor and a chimney and smoke fence in the roof. It would have been entered from the courtyard through a main door at the service end to your left, maybe here. But the Lord's dining table would have been at the opposite end, maybe over here somewhere. And they had 2 large windows, which are in front there and there, which would have looked lovely. But above there you can see where the upper floor would be, like there's a joist hole there. Right, let's head on here and check out the tower now. The round tower. But yeah, it's also got chicken wire, I think this is, just to give you extra grip when you are walking on here. So if it is raining, there's that extra bit of safety. So they have thought of everything when it comes to this. Obviously they haven't thought of installing like a nice lift so disabled people can get up here and see it, but that's why I'm here, just to show you the sights and let you see all of this, the upper floors. So if you do have mobility issues and you can't make it up here, then I'll film as much as I can up here so you can see it. So when you do arrive, you can see all of the low ground and I'll show you the upper ground. But yeah, these are the joist holes here. So they would have gone across and probably joined over in joist holes in that wall there. That would have been the entrance. Right. Right, so this is the great chamber. So this chamber, together with the round tower, formed the private quarters of the Lords of Barnard Castle. Now the ground floor, the original purpose of the floor below is not known. However, as it was surrounded by other buildings, it could never have received much light from the outside. You can still see the remains of a large fireplace in the north wall, so we will go down there and check that out. Now this is the first floor I'm going in at the moment. Now the first floor, you are standing on the first floor level. This floor contained the main domestic apartment and was more prestigious and comfortable than the ground floor. The late medieval period, it was converted into a long gallery suitable for indoor exercise, so it would have been a gym. The oriel window behind you, which is there, which looks very impressive. It's like the bay windows you get now. Where am I? Yeah, it was added during the ownership of Richard III. On the roof of this window you can see a large stone which has a faint carving of a boar, which is the motif associated with Richard III. So let's have a look, see if we can see that. Where's a boar? It's like a faint boar above it. Is it over here somewhere? Is that it? I can see like latticey works and the rose. Is that the boar there? If you've been here and you've seen the boar, let us know in the comments if I'm looking in the right direction here, because I can see like a latticey work there, and then I can see it sort of goes along there and down, and there's something here. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but yeah, just imagine being here. You come out, you've just been to the gym, and you come out along here and you look out of this window and see the River Tees flowing through. I don't think that bridge would have been there by that point in time, and all of these houses wouldn't have been here. It might have just been land, but you would have had a beautiful view of the River Tees flowing through there. Right, let's go into here, and hopefully we can get to the top of this little round tower. Right, so we've got stairs going down to the next level. There's a little area here. I don't know how much of it you'll be able to see because the GoPro's not very good in small lights. I hope this place isn't haunted. But yeah, I don't think you can see that on the camera, but round this corner it's just like a little space. There's not much to it, and obviously these little arrow slit holes or whatever they are just looks back out to Barbara and Steve down there. Don't know those people. I always call people Barbara and Steve. Anyway, so yeah, there's the stairs going down. I can see the stairs going up. This is the lower floor of the round tower. So the round tower is the most distinctive part of the whole castle layout. It's cylindrical, 4 floors high. So obviously you've got this floor, you got the lower floor. There might have been a floor maybe here, and then one maybe at the very top of there. But the spaces between the tower and these other buildings were used to build connecting chambers, passages and stairs. On this floor was the main private chamber. One of its 2 windows is an arrow loop, but the other, set in the recess, appears to have been a double rounded headed window within a rounded headed arch, which is nice. Sort of different sort of shaped openings, haven't you? They've got like what looks like the arrow slit sort of windows there. Then you've got main opening there, obviously the stairs going up to the next floor, I believe. Sometimes these things are kind of blocked off, but that looks like you can get all the way up there, so I'll go up there in a minute. There's a little area there which I'll show you in a second, but this looks like it goes to the front. This is where the entrance is. I'll show you quickly, hopefully you can see it through this little gap. But over there is the entrance to get into the actual castle itself. I think that was a sign that you may be able to see in the distance that said about the cafe. But yeah, you just go in that entrance, and that's where I pretty much started the tour of this. Right, so it's stating here that the second floor was less elaborate. And although it was brought into domestic use in the 15th and 16th century, so you got that floor, then the third floor was more Spartan, possibly because it was used as a guard room rather than domestic accommodation. Should we go to the next floor? I thought you'd say that. Let's go. Shall we have a look out this window and see what it's like? I think it's just the River Tees again. It's got to watch out because there's a lot of bird plop. But yeah, you can see the old bridge over there from before, and then there's just the walkway. There's a nice little walkway by the river. You can go along there, and obviously around here where Sheila and Barbara are going at the moment. Bless their little cotton socks. Right, let's go up this top floor or next floor and show you what's up here. But yeah, every now and then there's a window and it just shows some beautiful views. Obviously there's a lady there taking a picture. Just a shame all that housing's there. It would have been nice to see all that as it was, but unfortunately can't get rid of that. Right, head up this next level and see what we can see. So I wonder if this is the third floor, which was more a guard room than anything else. Which I'm guessing, because obviously you've got nice high points here where the kitchen was. Visitors are forbidden to climb on the walls. Well, do you know what? I'm not great with heights, so I won't be climbing on the walls. I'll go on this bit though. Right, oh, you can get a better view here. So there's the entrance. You just walk there. That's the Roman Way picnic area, it's called. Just go in there. There's your ticket office and your toilets. And that's where I started the little tour, just over there. But you can see how thick the walls are. What would you say they are? About a metre and a half thick, something like that. No one's getting in there. But yeah, this is the top of the tower. Right, let's head back down and then I'll take you down to the lower floor, which I think you can get through that building I was in a minute, a moment ago. So that's where I was a minute ago, and I think just around the corner there was some stairs to head down into the next bit. Was it the gym? I can't remember. I think it was the gymnasium area. But yeah, just watch yourself on these stairs because they open out onto there, and some of them are small and some of them are quite large, as you can see there. So there's the arrow slit window I showed you a moment ago, and that. Did I show you this area? I don't think I did I? So there's a little stair area here that shows you the main entrance again, and obviously that view we saw a moment ago from up there. I'll take you down quickly before anybody else comes in, so I don't feel daft talking to myself. So let's have a look. So the stairs going down there. Yeah, we'll head down here and then we'll be able to go out from here back into that other area that was about 5 or 10 minutes ago. So this would have been the gym apparently. So he would have had his bench there, maybe some dumbbells there, done some squats, got himself fighting fit for whoever came to invade. Then you got this area here. This is actually a well here. If you listen, you can hear the rushing water there. So that was a well. So after you work out, they always kept hydrated. And then I think this is like a burial thing, isn't it? Like a stone coffin. I think that's when you've worked out too much, you've done too much, and you've just keeled over and just stick you in that. That's where I would have been in the 12th century. I would have done all the workout. I'm unfit. I would have said, just sitting there, just laying there. Here's another view out, similar to the one upstairs, showing you the bridge and the waterfall. So there's another little sign on here. An Undercroft. So this was known as an Undercroft. So this floor of the round tower was for storage and domestic use. There is a garderobe, a latrine in the passage behind you, which I'll have a look at in a minute, a fireplace and a well, which is there. So I don't know what, so was that I don't know what that would have been. Obviously that's the well. Doesn't show on the map, so that's a well. I thought those were like stone coffins because it looks like there's a place for your head. So anyway, originally the Undercroft had 3 small arrow loops which gave covering fire to the base of the tower. 2 are still in their original form, but the central one has been converted into a rectangular opening. So access to the upper floor is by stairs in the thickness of the walls and through a small chamber, which obviously I've just come down, which is just here. So that must have been the fireplace, so obviously we've got that established. So the fireplace would have been there. The well for your water would have been there. So at least you've got the heat and the water so you can make yourself a nice Yorkshire tea. And would this have been the latrine? Because you can see like a head shape there, I'm sure that's like a stone coffin, it's got to be. So would have been the latrine in here. You've got a little sort of opening there so you can do your business and fire it down with that poor bloke. Obviously he wouldn't have been there in the 12th century. Right, let's go out of here and see what else there is. I'm sure there were stairs just down here. See what was down there. But as I say, yeah, watch yourself when you're coming out because some of the drops are quite steep. But yeah, there's a walkway just here. I guess this is just another vantage point, a little lookout point. But we'll go down anyway and have a look. But yeah, it's the same as before. Angle it out for you. Right, so just been down there, been in there where the well is. There's another little area here with some steps going up, so I'll go up here. Obviously, again, this is not accessible for wheelchairs or anybody with mobility problems. It's quite a steep little step going up, but this is the Postern Tower, this little thing here. This tower was added in the late 12th century, provided access through the sally port to the outside of the inner walls. So a little sally port. What's a sally port when it's at home? Let us know in the comments. What's a sally port? Ah, so this is the where the moat would have been, or I'm guessing that's where what would have been here, because it looks like that, doesn't it? I could be wrong. So this is a sally port. I wonder if when it goes about a port, correct me if I'm wrong, but if this was full of water, obviously this fence wouldn't have been here. Ooh, that's a bit dodgy. Yeah, the water was so high. Could you have got in a boat and gone round and out to the River Tees? Maybe not. It might have just been a moat. I might be just making it all up as I go along.
Sir, he's making it up as he goes along. No, I'm not.
Right, let's head back down and see what else there is. I think I've kind of showed you everything I can around here. But yeah, it's great to see there's like all of these iron railings everywhere, just for safety, obviously. With kids about, just gives you a bit more peace of mind that they're not going to go, oh look Dad, whoa. But yeah, it's all safe, it's all secure, it's all decent. You can see it. There's another church over in the distance again. Different churches time, because I think Trinity Methodist Church is over in that direction. So that'll be another one as well. Might be worth a look later. So I think I've showed you everything there is at this castle. So you got your great hall, you got your round tower, you got your little sally port over there, you got your kitchen. Don't know what this is. Don't know whether it mentioned this on the map. Let's find out what this was. I think it might be on this little map here, where the kitchen was. No, it doesn't tell you. It doesn't state what it is. Some nice little room. Maybe a storeroom, do you think? Because you obviously got the kitchen there. You've got all the bits and pieces there. There is storage over there. I remember storage over there. It looks like there was a round thing here, maybe a little well, possibly. Or would it have been a chimney? if anybody knows, anybody that's got a history or a knowledge of this place, would that have been a well or a chimney and this was some sort of a little room? Right, let's head on down now. So there is this sort of a lower level. Again, I don't think you can get down there if you're in a wheelchair, so I will take you down so you don't have to stress about that. You can see it in the comfort of your own home. So anyway, that was a round tower in the kitchen and all of that area. We'll head back round over this bridge, which is all flat, as I said a moment ago. We'll get down to the Great Ditch, which is just down here, which would have followed on from that moat area and gone down and then obviously come out to the River Tees, which is just again over there. So there's access points on the other side of this wall, but there's also one here that takes you on down. Again, there's chicken wire on the stairs just for safety. The railings feel strong, so it's alright. And there's gravel paths, so obviously you don't need to worry too much. So there in the distance you can see through that little archway, that's where the stairs are coming down from the opposite side, from the town ward, I think it was called, the very first part of the town ward. And obviously we've got the inner ward over here as well, so you can come through here and then head down this little grass area. Again, it's all pretty much flat, so if you are sort of fit enough, you can make it around here. Just be careful when you get down to this edge. I think this just stops here anyway, but it gives you an idea of the little gate that would have been here. Judging by that, I would guess that would have been a lot lower, unless people were only 1 foot tall back in those days. And that just heads back out to the river. So I think I've showed you everything. Yeah, all the different wards you can see, and there's like a little gift shop. When you go and get your ticket, there was 2 lovely ladies there that served me and would just tell me about the inner ward and the town ward, the north gate, the round tower, and the great sort of hall, and all the little bits. I didn't put her on camera because she pretty much said it before I could press record. But yeah, she let us know these certain areas and told me to go and enjoy myself, which I have, and I thoroughly recommend this place. It is a nice little place. Obviously I recommend coming when the kids are at school, because as you can see, beautiful sunshine, bluest of skies, and there's 8 people here, maybe sort of including me. But yeah, I definitely recommend this place. Get yourself here and just spend a few hours having a wander around. Imagine what it used to be like back in the day in the 12th century. Let's have a little look around here. While I'm here, there's another little information board, so it's not finished yet. I need to go and see what that is. I probably might have already read it. So this would have just flowed, so there's your moat or waterway, would have led down there towards the river. Maybe have gone over this way as well. Ooh. Watch yourself when you come around here, it's a bit muddy. Yes, there's another little area here. There's no signs to let me know what this particular area is. Nice little archway there. I wonder what that was for. I wonder that was a well maybe. With the water coming through here, maybe there's water under there as well. No. Pizza oven, 12th century pizza oven, that's what it was. Right, head back over here. I think I might have already read that. Just need to be careful because the grass is slippy, and I could end up falling back down. Let me just pause this. Right, so I've made it from the 12th century Peter oven. That's slippy, so I'd probably use the actual pathway going back up again. There is a little path going up, which I showed you earlier on, which was gravel, so you can either go up there or walking up the stairs, whichever you fancy. You've got the choice of two. Try both. Right, okay, so this little area here is the town walled buildings, as you can see in this sign, so I'll just show you that while I read it. So the area at the foot of this earth rampart has been excavated. It was found to contain evidence of a large two-storey hall and other buildings, a cobbled yard which once had a pond and a well, and a short flight of steps next to the wall led to the top of the earth rampart, and a substantial section of high wall in front of you divides the town wall from the outer ward even. So yeah, this is the town ward, and then you got your inner ward and you got your round tower over there. Look, can you see that on the camera? There's a black rabbit. Hopefully you can see that on the GoPro. It's having a little hoppity hop. I was told by the lady in the actual ticket office that you can see rabbits on here. There's quite a lot of rabbits and rabbit holes, and she said there was some black rabbits, and I didn't actually expect to see any, to be honest, and it's vanished. Was I seeing things? Are you there, bunny? There you are. Hello. There it is. So before I go and sit down there and get a much needed drink of water, because it's a very hot day, it's I think 24 degrees today, I'm going to take it up here. There's just another sign up here for this outer wall, so I'll read that and then I'll head back and I'll summarise the video. So let's go to this one. Now what you can see here is called the curtain wall. Now the curtain wall was an outer wall of the castle along with the outer ditch. It formed the first line of the defence. Now in this corner of the town wall, the wall survives almost to its full height and contains 3 complete arrow loops. These all have round-headed arches and wide splayed recesses in which archers could stand. There's a 4th arrow loop which has since been blocked up. And yeah, the earth rampart of which I am standing may be the original feature, and the joist holes in the wall suggest that at some point there were other buildings here. So obviously these would have been the joist holes here. So it might have been another floor going over there, maybe sort of in line with that there. So this is called the Dovecote Tower. This square tower was probably built in the early 12th century. At the same time as the curtain walls, inside there are a row of nesting boxes for doves and pigeons where they kept their source of food and eggs for the castle. So we'll have a little look in there and see these ledges. So this is for the birds. Just a nice little square tower here. There's nothing else to it, just obviously a few steps down into this little area. And you can see shelves there. Did you hear that? It's gone. I need that bird up. So I think that concludes everything in regards to that. I've done all of the outer wall. I've done the town ward here, and I've done obviously the other wards there and the round tower over in the distance, and then you've got the kitchen area over there, and the well and all that sort of stuff. So right, I'm going to go and sit over here, get some much needed water, and I'll summarise the experience. So I'll see you in a minute. So I'm just taking 10 minutes rest, having some water and hydrating, because I believe it's going to be 24 degrees today. It's going to be a scorcher. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of summarise the being here. I definitely recommend coming. It's about, give or take, £9 to get in here for an adult. I think there might be like concessions and things like that as well. But I'll put a link to this place in the description so you can see exactly what the prices are like. If you book in advance, I believe you get 15% discount. You can leave a donation, but it's not compulsory, but obviously it helps for the upkeep of the place. And as you can see in the video, everything is maintained lovely. There's the grass area is cut nice. Obviously the kids can go and play on there. The gravel is all flat, so it's accessible for wheelchairs up to a point. Obviously you can't get in the round tower and that, but yeah, there's everything you can need. Obviously able-bodied and disabled. You've got your toilets there, so you don't have to sort of stress about that. You've got peace of mind that they're there. There's lovely sort of staff here to tell you a bit about the place, or just sort of answer questions if you've got any about here. But yeah, I think I've spent about an hour walking around and showing you everything there is to see. But obviously I was flying around and not sort of fully reading all of the signs. I sort of read stuff out so you could sort of get a gist of what the area was that I was telling you about. But there is a lot more history here, which I'm going to walk around again once I've stopped filming and take all that in regards to Richard III and sort of other buildings and what else they were used as in the different centuries, the 12th, 13th, 14th centuries and so like. But yeah, I would definitely recommend coming here. It's a lovely little area, especially when the weather is like this. You can come either with yourself, your partner, or you can bring the kids, a whole family event. As I say, there's just, even though there's not amusements and things, obviously there's some little games for the kids on the grass. But obviously kids have got beautiful imaginations and they can just imagine their Richard III, kings, queens, princes and princesses and knights or whatever, and fighting battles. I think, as I say, there's a gift shop in there, and I think there was shields and swords and things like that. So yeah, so you can buy your kids some swords and shields and they can fight their own little battle on there and enjoy the day while you're sitting and having a drink and just taking it all in. But yeah, it's a beautiful part of this particular part of the northeast, so definitely check it out. If you enjoyed this video, then give us a like. In the comments, let us know if you've been here, what you thought of the place. If you're a disabled person, let us know how you got on in regards to the gravel paths and certain other sections. Obviously some people are in wheelchairs and can walk small distances, so you might be able to make it up into parts of that round tower. But yeah, let us know in the comments what your experience of the place is like. But I definitely recommend, if you're from England or you're from outside of England, come here for the day. You'll love it. It's not too far from the high street. There is the Roman Way picnic area out there as well, which is a nice lovely little area to sit and have some food. You don't, if you're not coming in here first thing or you've just been in here. And then the high street is not too far, 100 yards down there. There's a Methodist church in the distance, which is, you can see possibly there. And then the front of that is basically where the high street is. You've got the high street and you've got like a marketplace, market square over in that direction. Anyway, I'm taking too much of your time here. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Helps me out massively and it gets me to lovely places like this. So thank you to all those that subscribed, those that have sent me those thank you donations, and just for watching the video is enough. I really appreciate every single one that takes the time to watch my content. So take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.